John Calvin on Psalm 102, verses 4 through 7. My heart is smitten and withered like grass, so that I forget to eat my bread. By reason of the voice of my groaning, my bones cleave to my skin. I am like a pelican of the wilderness. I am like an owl of the desert. I watch, and am like a sparrow alone upon the housetop. My heart is smitten and withered like grass. The psalmist intends to express something more than that his heart was withered and his bones reduced to a state of dryness. His language implies that as the grass, when it is cut down, can no longer receive juice from the earth, nor retain the life and vigor which it derived from the root, so his heart, being, as it were, torn and cut off from its root, was deprived of its natural nourishment. I have forgotten to eat my bread. The meaning here is, my sorrow has been so great that I have neglected my ordinary food. The Jews, it is true, during their captivity in Babylon did eat their food, and it would have been an evidence of their having fallen into sinful despair had they starved themselves to death. But what he means to say is that he was so afflicted with sorrow as to refuse all delights and to deprive himself even of food and drink. True believers may cease for a time to partake of their ordinary food when, by voluntary fasting, they humbly beseech God to turn away his wrath. But the prophet does not here speak of that kind of abstinence from bodily sustenance. He speaks of such as is the effect of extreme mental distress, which is accompanied with a loathing of food and a weariness of all things. I have become like a pelican in the wilderness. In this verse, there are pointed out certain melancholy birds, whose place of abode is in the holes of mountains and in deserts, and whose note, instead of being delightful and sweet to the ear, inspires those who hear it with terror. He says he is removed from the society of men and has become almost like a wild beast in the forest. Although the people of God dwelt in a well-cultivated and fertile region, yet the whole country of Chaldea and Assyria was to them like a wilderness, since their hearts were bound by the strongest ties of affection to the temple and to their native country from which they had been expelled. The third similitude, which is taken from the sparrow, denotes grief, as produces the greatest uneasiness.